Hi, I'm Vanessa from speakenglishwithvanessa.com. Do you want to practice speaking English like me? Let's talk about it. What is the perfect accent? Is it possible to speak English exactly like an American without any accent from your own native language? A lot of students ask me, Vanessa, I want to speak English like you, like an American. How long will it take? Is it possible? Possibly, but probably not. What is more important is that you can speak clearly and understandably. You can express yourself in English. You can form relationships in English or be professional or just be yourself in English. Today, I will help you do this. Over the next 15 minutes, I will help your speaking to become more clear and you will become excited about English. Hooray! Let's do it. I get a lot of comments below my videos that say something like this. I like the way you pronounce the English language. Vanessa, my sweetheart, I like your pronunciation. This is very tender and kind. But why do students, maybe you, like my pronunciation? This is the answer. Your English is so clear. Thanks a lot. And clear speaking is the key. You too can speak clearly. Before we talk about 3 tips that can help you to speak more clearly in English, I want to ask you, how clear is your English right now? Can other people understand you? Let's take a quick test with my student Vincenzo. Let's watch.
Lot of.
So what did it say?
He says 65 and he signs something in red, something in orange.
Let's click on it and see what it says. There's probably some details.
Yeah, yes, that's very tricky for Italian people.
You're not alone.
So tricky. Okay. Lot of. Okay.
So it was asking for the final sound, the of.
Because I said lot of instead of saying v.
Sure, having that vibration. Thank you to the awesome pronunciation app Elsa Speak for sponsoring today's video and also giving you a huge discount, which I'll tell you about a little bit later. All right, let's go to our first tip to help you speak clearly and understandably in English. Tip number 1, shadow English speakers whose voice you like. This expression, to shadow, means that you listen to a sentence or a phrase from an English speaker and you repeat directly after that phrase. You try to imitate their way of speaking. This idea of shadowing or imitating is one of the most proven techniques for improving your pronunciation and speaking clearly. You could shadow a sentence from the TV show Friends. You could shadow a sentence from the famous movie Forrest Gump, or we could practice shadowing with one of my lessons. Let's do it. You're gonna see a short clip from this lesson that I made a couple months ago, and we're gonna be listening to that clip 2 times. There's just one sentence. You'll listen to it 2 times. Then I'll help you to break down some challenging pronunciation points. Then we will listen to the clip 2 more times, and it will be your chance to speak out loud and to shadow, to practice this technique. Of course, you can use this with any video, any TV show or movie. We're just practicing it here with one of my lessons. All right, let's watch that short clip and listen for the sentence, take it with a grain of salt. I'm just an amateur gardener. Listen for that sentence. But, take it with a grain of salt. I'm just an amateur gardener. But, take it with a grain of salt. I'm just an amateur gardener. Okay, let's break down this sentence and talk about some of the challenging or important pronunciation points. The first thing is in the first half of this sentence, take it with a grain of salt. Do you notice there's a lovely TH at the end of that word? With. This is a common mistake that a lot of English learners make. They often focus on TH at the beginning of words like thank you or Thursday, but THs at the end of words, can be pretty tricky. Sometimes we just forget it or drop it. So let's make sure that you're saying that correctly. Can you say it with me? Take it with. Take it with. All right, the next thing we're going to talk about is some linking that happens in the second half of this sentence. I said, I'm just an amateur gardener. Justin. There is a men's name in English named Justin. That's not what we're saying, but it's a similar sound. So I want you to link together these two words. I'm Justin. Can you say this with me? I'm Justin. Then let's look at the next word. Amateur. There's a strong CH sound in the middle of this word. Amateur. I also want you to be able to have a strong R sound at the end. When you have a strong R sound, like is typical in American English, it will help your pronunciation to be much more clear and understandable because those sounds are important for understanding the full meaning of your sentence or even just each word. So let's try to say that word together. Amateur. And that same sound is going to happen in the last word. Gardener. Make sure that R at the end is clear. Can you say it with me? Gardener. All right, take a deep breath. You have been practicing this one sentence. Now we're going to listen to the original clip 2 times, that quick sentence twice, and then I'll pause so that you can say it all by yourself. Are you ready? Yes, you can do it. Let's watch. But, take it with a grain of salt. I'm just an amateur gardener. Take it with a grain of salt. I'm just an amateur gardener. Excellent work shadowing and speaking clearly. Let's go on to tip number 2 to help you speak clearly in English. Tip number 2 is to test yourself by speaking with someone for 5 minutes and seeing if they can generally understand what you're saying. The best way to do this is to tell someone a short story. It can be 5 minutes, could be 2 minutes, a short story of something that happened to you, maybe over the weekend or on your last vacation or when you were a kid. Tell them this story, tell them some details, tell them whatever you would like, and then when you're finished, ask them to repeat back to you what you said. It doesn't need to be word for word, but if they understood the general concepts and some of the important details, this is a great thing because they are understanding you clearly and your voice is understandable. Have you ever spoken in English and the other person just nodded and smiled and you thought, did they really understand me? Were they listening? Did they know what I said? Well, this method is a great way to test to see if the other person could understand you. Of course, please tell the other person this in advance so that they know that they should be listening very carefully to everything that you have to say. Let me show you how this can work. We're gonna watch a 1-minute clip where I tell you about my most embarrassing moment. So embarrassing. And I want you to listen for the general concepts and for some details. If I speak clearly, you should be able to understand the general concepts and the details, and you can do the same thing with someone else, whether that is another English learner, an English teacher, you can use this method. All right, let's watch this clip and see if you can understand and see if I'm speaking clearly. In fact, it was during a theater practice. I was one of the lead roles in our high school play. And
of course you were.
The problem was that during rehearsals, during that time period, those weeks, I broke my wrist. So I had a lot of doctor's appointments and I missed a lot of rehearsals. So one day I went to the rehearsal and I was on the stage. There was no audience. It was just the other classmates who were in the play, and my teacher was in the audience. And I didn't know it, but we were supposed to memorize all of our lines on that day. But I didn't know it because I had missed so many rehearsals. And so I got on the stage with my playbook and I was reading my lines because I didn't know we were supposed to memorize them. And she yelled at me so much. She was screaming at me. This is not a good teacher situation in the first place.
Yeah.
But she was yelling at me, Vanessa, why didn't you remember your lines? And I stood there, and the only thing I could do was just cry.
Oh, no.
And I just cried in front of everyone on the stage.
Oh, my God.
I was so ashamed and embarrassed, and
That
I was
sounds
embarrassed
bad.
that I was crying. It was just a really bad situation all around. So
I hope that teacher felt bad.
I don't know. How did you do? Could you understand my clear speaking? You can do the same thing. Like I mentioned, you could do this with an English learner, an English teacher. Usually I say that you can even speak English with your pets, your dog or your cat, but in this situation, maybe it's not the best idea. And that was my most embarrassing moment. Did you understand me, Pippin? Did you understand how clear I was speaking? Tip number 3 for speaking English clearly and understandably is to figure out the specific sounds that are difficult for you and focus on them. You don't need to waste your time practicing sounds and phrases that are already easy for you. When you focus on sounds that are difficult for you, you are using your time wisely. And after you practice, other people are going to say, "Whoa, how did you learn to speak so clearly? That's great." Maybe you already know that TH is difficult for you. That's great. But what about some tough sounds that are hard for you personally or for speakers of your native language? Can you accurately say desk, disc? This short I sound is tough for a lot of Spanish speakers. Or can you say speak, peak? This S sound is tough for a lot of Vietnamese speakers. Or what about eight, hate? This H sound is tough for French and Italian speakers. Or rice, lice. This RL problem is a common difficulty for Chinese, Japanese, and Korean speakers and some others. So what about for you? Which sounds are the most tricky? How can you find out? I have some good news. The awesome app Elsa Speak can help you to figure out which sounds are not clear when you speak in English. You will get a pronunciation score for each sound, and you will get exact advice about how you can speak more clearly. Let's take a look at what over 13 million users are excited about. Yeah, let's try the second one. Did you drop out of college? Personal topics.
What year did you graduate from UCLA? I knew. Can I hear the correct pronunciation from the app?
Yes, I think let's listen to it first, and then you can try to repeat it. So, especially for words like that maybe you're not familiar with.
No.
What year did you graduate from UCLA?
Okay, UCLA.
Ah, yes, okay.
I read UCLA.
I was trying to think too, what is UCLA? Ah, okay, UCLA.
UCLA. What is UCLA? It's kind of a university, a college.
It's the University of California, Los Angeles.
Okay. I'll never forget it.
Got it. All right. So if you want to listen to her part and then listen to your part that you should say, and then you can just repeat what the app told you should say. So kind of like that shadowing.
Yeah. Okay.
What year did you graduate from UCLA?
What year did you graduate from UCLA? 88.
2011. You?
I dropped out of college in 2006. I dropped out of college in 2006. 79.
Which parts did it say?
Out of college in 2006.
He says that I made a mistake at the end of out because probably I said out instead of saying out.
Outa. I dropped outa with that
outa,
D.
And of.
Uh-huh.
I dropped out of college in 2006. 82.
Why did you drop out?
I wanted to add my friends with this startup. I wanted to help my friend with his startup. 66.
What's it say?
He says, wanted to help. It's so and so. There are a lot of red over there.
I wanted to help my friend with his startup.
Okay. I wanted to help my friend with his startup. 83.
That's great. It sounded much better to me too.
Really?
I'm still there.
Good TH. That sounded amazing.
I said there,
Yes.
there several times, and now I got it.
Yes, that R too, nice and strong. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Vincenzo. You rock. Just like you saw with Vincenzo, you can practice with over 1,600 lessons, over 40 different topics, all in the comfort of your own home. For English learners, Elsa Speak is absolutely the best pronunciation app. Just look at this. Pretty good, right? The Elsa Speak team is offering you, my students, a 30% discount on the yearly membership and an 80% discount on the lifetime membership. Click on the link in the description to get this special discount just for you, my lovely students. Before we go, let's practice one challenge sentence together so that you can practice your pronunciation, improve your clarity, speak clearly and understandably, and like yourself. All right, let's say this sentence together. I will speak clearly and confidently in English. Again, I will speak clearly and confidently in English. Thank you so much for saying this with me. Can you write that in the comments below this video? I will speak clearly and confidently in English. Well, thank you so much for learning English with me, and I'll see you again next Friday for a new lesson here on my YouTube channel. Bye! Did you enjoy this free lesson? The next step is to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Don't forget to click the Elsa Speak link in the description to practice speaking clearly and confidently and get a special discount. Thanks for learning English with me. Bye!